Hey folks, thank you for downloading the Project Requirements Kit Plus video for web design development agencies and or solo freelancers. Sorry about the mouthful, but that had to be done. So here's the thing. Project requirements document or scope of work, MSA, SRS, and so on and so forth. Business requirement documents are not a new thing. You can easily go on Google PRD template, and you'll be bombarded with 1,000 of them. The issue is most of them are either too complicated to understand or they're not relevant to a specific niche. Now, me being someone who's worked especially in project delivery, uh, over the years, working with a lot of clients and a lot of projects, I basically perfected the PRD format in order to do two key things. So, number one, it is that the requirements are detailed enough that you are providing value to the client. You're explaining the project in a detail that is necessary, but they don't go overboard that the client literally doesn't read your document or doesn't care about it. It is in a length, in a format that is very easily readable by the client you're doing a web design dev project for. Now, if this was a mobile app or something, the story might be a bit different. On the other side, the document does an amazing job of helping your designer, your design team, your developer, your development team, or even you if you're the one doing the design and development to lay out the flow in which you should carry the project in. And it has protections built in for you on this scale of project size that you don't have to worry about lashback due to the most common client scenarios that happen in an environment where you're delivering design development projects. That being said, let's go through what we have today. So first, once you get the download, you'll have two documents and this video. The two documents are a blank template. You can just copy paste, add a nice header or watermark for your agency or your work. And then there is a filled example, and we'll go through both of them right now. So in the template, I'll just go through the headings, and then in the filled example, I'll explain what everything means. So let's go to the blank template first. As you can see, first of all is the initial call discovery recording. We have the call notes. We have a project summary over here summarizing your project for the client from a perspective of like what the engagement will look like. Then usually in web design or web app design dev, either you'll be working on the current website or you'll be updating it with like a brand new website that did not exist before, right? Moving on, we have the most important thing that comes to web is the audience, right? The primary audience, the secondary audience, the tertiary audience. Now you on the backend can do further research on how to do this, and I will be launching a competitor analysis template down the road. But basically, for what the client needs to know, makes it really easy to understand. If there is a current website, you can put the link here. Then we have like basically everything related to the UI UX of the new website. We have some design preference stuff, and then we have the competitor analysis. Every client will usually have competitors. Even if they don't have direct competitors, they will have indirect competitors. And if they don't have indirect competitors, they will have alternative competitors. This is an important part. Again, feel free to update it as per your process, but typically speaking, you should limit the design feedback in a certain way and make it clear from the get-go like how the design feedback process will work, so you're not stuck in a never-ending loop of design change requests, right? And then here comes the crux when it comes to development. Basically, laying down the foundation of the whole website and the web app and letting the client know that, okay, these are the different modules, different pages, different everything that you're going to be working through, and add any notes along the way as required. Then we have just a list of plain deliverables, again, updated to the project. We have a sitemap, and you can use this tool, and I've attached an example over here. Really love this tool. Creates a sitemap in an instant, shareable forever, and should work great for you. And then we have a really important section. This is the securities I was talking about, the safety built into the document for you as a freelancer or a small web design agency. Again, you can go read through the terms. I'll cover them in the next document. And we just go over to some of the more, again, ironclad security items that I've seen, the common trends I've seen that, destroy any software development design project. And then ending some like, milestone stuff, timelines, so on and so forth. Tech stack, if the client requests it, not necessarily part of every document. And then you just have your approval, so on and so forth. Now, just to end on a note, This isn't a legally binding document. This is more to set the scope of the document. So just keep that in note. A legally binding document would be your contract for your sales proposal with terms and conditions that are legally, laid out in legal language. This is an easy to understand document for your client and then for your design and development agency. You can literally duplicate this once it's filled out, cut out the parts that are unnecessary, and give it to your design dev team. Let's go to document number 2 now. So always have a kickoff or / discovery call with your clients, right? How you want to do that discovery call, you can just feel free to ask me, send me an email for any feedback on this email address. But typically do a discovery call, record it using tools like Fathom and TLDV, really good tools. Put the summary here, and these tools have their own AI summary thing also you can use. That is also fine. And then we move to the project summary. So in this filled out example, we're dealing with a hypothetical drop shipping store that's selling golf cart and ATV parts. Okay, so they have an existing website, and the client is like an e-commerce legend, but his website he just acquired, it's not good, the SEO stuff is broken, some of the major pain points that they have, and just in general the competitor space is very boring and unappealing, right? So we go through the audiences, the primary audience that we expect the website to be hitting, secondary and tertiary, and then some notes about like what we need to do in order to some additional functionalities that the client required, right? Moving on, we have a competitor analysis and the strengths and weaknesses. That's what's the most important part about basic competitor analysis without going into too much details. Listed out all the competitors, their strengths and weaknesses, and then the overall trends to solve for, and the key takeaways that the client wants for design. So always try to have full creative freedom whenever it comes to design and even development, but you do have to take into consideration, let's say, wishes of the client, right? So you can't always fully control, especially at this scale of project size. So you just list out and control from the get-go what the client gets to say and post it over here. If the client has provided any assets, you can link them here. And then we have the feedback process. And I've highlighted, I put this here, like if there are any differences in your feedback process, feel free to use this section for that. Let's go to the functional requirements. So we have like the home page, we have notes, the products page, product category pages, brand pages, so on and so forth. The typical e-commerce flow. And you can see like how it's laid out, and it's very minimal, and that's intentional. Like as a product manager, I can go and write a page about all of these features, but that's not the goal here. The goal here, it needs to be digestible and understandable by most people who read this document, right? So you have to keep that in mind. That's the purpose of this document. List of deliverables. The PRD itself is a deliverable. And then we have the inventory management integration, the web design, the development, so on and so forth. Beginning with the sitemap, you can click here to see the example. Let's do that actually. So this sitemap is just to show an example how it looks like. Again, this tool is amazing. You can like quickly create pages, delete pages, so on and so forth. And then we have some additional info. Additional info is anything that might be specific, that does not, affect the project that much, but it might have to be taken into consideration. Like stuff like before getting the payment needs to go through PayPal or Payoneer or whatever, like different, any specific client tailored requirements that there might be. So this could be additional info. We have the assumption section, how it should be, and then, the stuff we talked about before. And timeline. One thing about the timeline is always mention that never give an exact timeline, because in software world, let's be honest, nothing gets delivered on time because there is always unexpected stuff that happens. So always give a roundabout time then, and always make sure that you point it out somewhere. So this is the point that you have to take into consideration, that even though you're given the breakdown in days, the overall timeline might overlap, might not overlap. It's a range. It's like 12 to 16 weeks. Best case 12, worst case 16, might go over if something happens, right? That's why we have the assumption here that protects you if the client takes too long to give feedback. So as I said, this is a list of protections for you. I would highly suggest you read all of them. It will make sense to you once you read it. Once you read this, if you feel like, aha, these are the issues that happened in my project, I would prefer if you share your story with me over at LinkedIn if possible. We have a tech stack. Again, doesn't matter to most people because, as I said, the goal of this document is not to be technical. But if you want to provide more value, Feel free to fill this out in any format you like. This is the typical standard web format, ending with the approval. That being done, thank you very much for getting this template. It's free, and hopefully you learn something. The goal here is like, I want to enable more and more people to provide more value. And if you see results with this template being used, a shout out would be very nice. You can head over to LinkedIn at in/SakibTahirPK. You can find me here, message me, share your story with me, tag me. Would love to see if this helped you in any way within your projects. And as an end note, there is more to come. This is the first one. This will be a series of templates. So be sure to stay tuned. And once you get here, you will be enlisted in an email list. So whenever the next one goes live, you will be notified about it. Thank you very much.